All right, so I have some anemones that I started sprouting here, and some, also some ranunculus. And I'm noticing that it was starting to mold. I got a little bit too much moisture in here, and I'm kind of concerned that they're going to start rotting. But I do notice that we have some rooting here. So it is a beautiful day. We have some nice weather. I know my greenhouse is really warm, so I'm gonna go get a heat tape. Yeah, because these guys are molding. I need to get them out of here. There's just too much moisture. The conditions are not good in here, so I gotta get them out of here. These are ranunculus. So anyway, I'm going to go get a heat tape, and I'm going to hook it up for on a thermostat, so the heat tape I can use it on the soil as a backup instead of turning the whole furnace on in my greenhouse. I'm just going to put the frost cover over top of these and plant these with some heat tape as a backup in case it gets below 0 degrees Celsius. It will turn on, and then it'll prevent these from freezing, and it'll be like a fall succession for them. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I do see that we have some more of these really beautiful. So the secret perfume is coming up actually really well. There's quite a few of them in here popped up. Silk Road, I don't see any back there yet. And I do see that there's a couple of the rainbow mix. No red dresses are waking up yet. And I do have the flaming Prisma is up, but no Disney Paris yet. So we'll see. They've only been in here like a week, and they were in the fridge for 14 weeks. So we'll see. Duh. It wasn't a week. Today's the 26th, and were planted on the 14th. So they're right on track. I think this is one of those moments that you'd be like, don't tell mom. And then you realize you're the mom. Dang. And I need to harvest some lettuce and stuff. So I'm gonna have to do some sort of a salad. Look at that. 3 days ago, I harvested this. 3 days ago. I need more friends or something. Friends, come get lettuce. Are you being a noisemaker? They're so annoying in the spring. Just squawky and annoying. Shh. Delicate ears. Shh. Well, I just got back from Home Hardware, and I was able to find some heat tape, or like a heating cable for roofing. So this is what we use here to melt the snow, and I'm going to use that. But first, I had some buns rising. I want to get those baked up before I go start my next project, so I thought I would just show you what I'm doing. I just made some buns. I have a bun recipe. I shared it for my Christmas cinnamon bun, sticky buns, and it's the same recipe. I just made hamburger buns out of it, and I'm using up some sesame seeds. I actually seen Becky at Acre Homestead. She did this, made hamburger buns, and I was like, I have some of those to use up as well. So I thought I would do that while I was doing all my other projects today, and get this all ready for the week ahead of meals. So anyway, yeah, I made some hamburger buns between planting and gardening and all the fun stuff on the homestead. Smelled so good. Some of them I topped with poppy seeds as well. So it had sesame and poppy seed, and I really like that combination for burger buns. Okay, here's the current plan. I had one of these like a thermo cube or thermo outlet. And as you can see, it turns on at 35 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 degrees Celsius, and it turns off at 45 degrees Fahrenheit and 7 degrees Celsius. So my plan is I'm going to take this cable here that we just picked up. This is what it looks like. There's a lot of it. and I'm going to run it like a grid kind of thing, like not like a tic-tac-toe grid, but just like a back and forth rows. And then I'm going to plug it in to this, and I'll plant around the cables so they're like at least an inch or an inch and a half away from the plant itself that I'm planting, because I don't care if the top of it freezes. I just don't want it to freeze in the ground. And this thermostat will help with regulating the temperature so it's not on all the time. It will only turn on when it gets cold in the greenhouse. And right now it's about 15 degrees in the greenhouse. And so even if it gets down to minus 20 degrees Celsius, I'm pretty confident that this will only kick on a little bit, simply because there's a lot of heat in the ground, and I'm going to be covering them with a row cover and mulch. So I think we're safe. We'll see how it goes. I might not be able to. Maybe it is more frozen than I realize. But we'll see. We're going to try it and see what happens with the anemone and the ranunculus. So I got my ranunculus up here. And under here is anemones. They're sprouted. I got some worm castings, my cable. Let's go navigate some big snow drifts. Fun times. After I'm done, I gotta shovel all this away again. I had done it a few days ago, but I gotta do it again. Hello, greenhouse. Okay. Oh, it's soggy in here. It's not frozen, at least. Well, it's definitely not frozen, so I think I have daffodils planted here. I should check and see if they're still trying to germinate. It's a little frozen in spots. Not really though. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want them to sprout if they're not ready. But I think I'm going to move some of this away because I know I don't have anything planted here. I'm going to cut back these and then plant my anemones and ranunculus here. And I'm going to do that because I was planning to do other things here, but I think this will be the best spot for them. And I'm not going to dig into the soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring soil on top of them. I'll lay them down once I kind of get this cleaned up. I'll put some worm castings down, put them on top, and then I'm just going to bring soil in and mound it up just like this. Cover it with leaves, I think is the plan. And then we're good. Should be good. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We have weeds growing. They're literally... This is eucalyptus. Looks like it's wintering over pretty fairly. We'll see. Gotta clean all that off. It's pushing in. I shoveled away the other day, but we had a big snow And now it's here again. It's a lot of snow. A lot of snow. These here are what anemone corms look like when they're sprouted, pre-sprouted. So they require a lot of cool temps in the early spring. They like it cool. So I'm just kind of placing them. I'm gonna move these cables. I'm just kind of laying them here now, and then I'm gonna put these guys, I'm just setting them down on the soil. It's nice and loose. And then what I'll do is I will come with some compost and I will top it with compost. I'll move these out of the way, of course, before I put the compost down. And then I will place the cables back on top of the compost, and then I'm probably going to either mulch with leaves, just a light layer of leaves like I did over there, or I will leave it and just put my hoops with frost cover over top. And that's that. And I will put this on a thermostat, and if it needs to kick on, it will. It probably won't because it's really warm in here. In fact, it's raining, so anyway, I'm gonna keep going with this. Some ranunculus. I just kind of covered that up, and then I have some ranunculus here. They're sprouted, ready to go, and I'm just going to cover them up, and then we'll get this heating cable set up and cover them with frost cloth, and we're good to go. Heat cable's on. Thank you. It's not that frozen, so I can actually push these into the ground wherever we haven't been walking. So I decided I'm covering the daffs as well, the daffodils. And I have a heat tape running on them as well. And we're gonna get 2 more layers of this cloth on top of this sheet. And then that should be good for minus 15 degrees Celsius with them covered, and then them being inside of a building, that should give them another 5 degrees. So we should be good for minus 20 without the heat tape. 3 sheets. Heat tape on a thermostat. I don't even think it turned on yet, so should be good. Yep. Thanks, man. Whew, it's cold out. Really cold outside. I gotta chill. I just got in and I thought I'd warm up in my seedling room because it's so nice and warm in here. But I gotta show you some of the stuff that come up today. I'm really excited because I was worried about the germination. And I gotta show you, I have a new method that I'm trying for Bells of Ireland and it's actually working. So I'm gonna just flip this around and give you a show and share. So over here we have Cherry Twist Snapdragons. I seen they were starting to get leggy. They needed light, so I didn't have a great germination on them for some reason, but better than nothing. I have these guys here are Legend Light Pink Snapdragons and Custom Mix Snapdragons as well. I have Fast and Furious Lettuce. I have 2 of them, I believe, or maybe 1. And then I have some pansies. And so there's Brushstroke Pansy, Magnolia, I think it is, Heart, Aqua, and Frizzle Sizzle. And then I have Scabiosa. I have White Salmon, Salmon Queen is what it's called. And then I have Deep Pharma Blue and Black Knight. Kind of a shoddy germination on them, so we'll see. I gotta water them. I wanted them to dry down. Update on our lettuce. Look at those. I will be harvesting those in not very long, I will tell you, because that grows so fast. And it's doing great. Really great. These look like basil, don't they? They really do. They look like basil. I wonder if they taste like basil. So over here, I have Baby Blue Eucalyptus. Look at this, you guys. I'm so excited to have them germinate. They are dry, getting drier too. I need to water them. I have some Sweet Red Dianthus. So this is a carnation. I notice I have a little bit of mold. I'm gonna have to give some chamomile tea and some cinnamon to this. We have Seeker White Status and Forever Happy Status, which is a new color. And then I have QIS Yellow Status, which is pretty cool. And then over here, I have Bunny Tails. These guys are Bunny Tails. Sweet Annie. Some Shabbat Jean, I think it is, or Jean or Janine, I can't remember. Marie Shabbat, and then there is Yarrow Favorite Berries and Yarrow Summer Pastels. They always have a great germination. And then I have some Shabbat Picotee and Shabbat La France. Those are carnations. Ugh. They need water as well. Over here, we've got the pretty lettuce. Dang. I want salad like every day. Don't you guys just want one of these? So gorgeous. So gorgeous. Okay, let's go back. Ugh. It smells like poo in here. Why does it smell like poo? Oh, I have compost in here, that's why. Duh, that's empty. Okay, these guys, ooh, I'm so excited. So, I did Nicole on Flower Hill Farms method last year for Bells of Ireland, and it worked great, but it was a pain in my butt, and I just didn't have time to deal with it. I did have time, I just didn't want to. It was annoying me. So I decided I had these in the fridge, and as you can see, they've germinated. They've been in here for 2 days, and they've all pretty much sprouted underneath, like underneath the I have castings on top. Underneath the castings, they've germinated. They just haven't popped through yet. But I have them on a heat mat and under lights. But I have the heat mat on the timer with the lights. So I don't keep the heat mat going day and night. I have the heat mat on the timer, so it's off for 8 hours. And it gets a cool down, so the seeds cool completely down, and then they warm up, and then they cool, and then they warm up. And bells really like that, and it looks like I have a very good germination, and they're sprouting like all right away. Before, when I did the method in the paper towel and the fridge and the heat mat, it took several weeks for me to get them to germinate, and this is the same seed packet. So they clearly like this method, and I think I like that method too, because I don't have to do very much with it. And then in here I have onions, which are Cortland onions. They are a hybrid. And then on the back side we have favorite berries yarrow and cherry caramel flux in the other back. And I see they popped up. So I'll probably be moving those off the heat mat and putting them under lights. So everything's germinated. I'm gonna have to start some more seeds here in another 4 days. These will be successions. These seedlings are all going into the greenhouse. Probably in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the weather. We'll see. We will see, because I can put them under frost cloth, and during the day it gets actually quite warm in the greenhouse, and then it's just at night time where temperatures dip down. These are all cold hardy, so they actually really do well when they get close to those freezing temperatures. They like that early spring, so we'll see. Look, we have bok choy. Look at that. How cute. I can't wait to be able to make soup. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and joining me for this little experiment we're doing with the flower farm. I hope that it inspires you in some way, and I hope you enjoyed the content. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. By the way, I took a sample of my aquarium, and if you're into little creatures and crawly things, you might want to watch this, because you might think this is interesting. But if you are kind of queasy with little crawly things, you might want to skip off here and skip this part. But I thought I would show you because I think it's really cool. I found an Aleosoma worm, which is basically an aquatic earthworm that magically appeared in the biofilm, or like the little scummy stuff, the scum things that grow on the driftwood and the inside of the aquarium. I took a sample of that because I noticed the fish were eating at a specific spot on a part of the driftwood, and I wanted to see what it was they were eating, and this is what I found. So it showed up in this ecosystem. My aquarium is an ecosystem, which is really cool, and it eats particles of organic matter and it turns it into basically compost. So my tank is composting, and this is great because I'm using my clean outs, my water changes, and whatever I can harvest from my substrate, I am using that to feed my plants and fix the microbiology, whether I'm using it for my seedlings as a soak, a root soak, or whether I'm using it hydroponically. I'm using this to bring back nutrients and life into my flower farm, which is pretty cool to see that there is life. Just it's coming back on its own just by allowing it to. So I know that it's kind of a weird little creepy guy, but it's kind of interesting. He's vacuum eating. If you can see all these particles moving towards its mouth, it's actually eating. So it has these little, it moves food into its mouth by creating a vacuum. And so that's pretty neat. And you know what? It reproduces by cloning itself, which is kind of creepy, but it's really neat. I've actually seen it happening, and I thought it was pretty interesting. On the scope, on the microscope, it actually has dots. In this one has little orange dots all over its body, like a burnt orange dot, but it has can have different colors. At first I thought it was poisonous, but it's not. It has little hairs, little whiskers. Under the microscope, it looks like a kid drew it with a crayon. Now I also found these are stinters, and they are really fascinating little creatures. They live in all fresh water. You can find these in puddles. You can find them in lakes. Pretty much anything that is non-chlorinated, you're going to find these little creatures. And they have little hairs that kind of do the same thing. They create a vacuum and bring food into them, little particles. And they eat organic matter and waste. And so that's what they do. And when you watch them, they will
they retract and then they'll extend themselves out. And it's interesting to see how they interact with their environment. So these guys, they can take a fragment of themselves and create a whole new creature, a whole new, like a whole new animal out of itself. Out of a fragment of itself, it can create another self, but a different other self. It's just a messed up, weird, very fascinating little creature. Yeah, see how it interacts with itself, and it like retracts and then it extends itself. Very interesting little things. So many things to discover just in an aquarium alone. I can't wait to be able to start taking samples of my soil and seeing what kind of life comes back to it as I'm using regenerative practices on my flower farm and homestead. So interesting. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little bonus reel of the creepy crawlies in my aquarium. Okay, bye for real now.